here we have, getting ready to come in to the anticipation of the crowds, number 8 Master Warrant Officer Leonard Tan. And I just want to say, Don, I've got exclamation marks beside the number of jumps he's had. It's a whopping 2,390.
He literally walked his way into the promenade, John. That experience all on show here at the float and at Marina Bay, and the crowd is just absolutely thrilled. Here comes number 9, Second Warrant Officer Shirley Earn, the only woman in this team today with 620 jumps, just navigating her way very slowly, gravity pulling her way down to the ground. Here she comes, about to make touchdown. Perfect landing.
And bringing up the rear, Third Warrant Officer Jeffrey Heng with 1,150 jumps. The crowd all looking at our Red Lions as they enter the fray. Waving to the crowd, and the crowd waves back. How about that? What a display from the folks here at the Marina Bay floating platform, waving their flags, thanking the Red Lions for their bravery.
Standing shoulder to shoulder there to take their final applause from the crowd. A job well done. Bravo, Red Lions, soaking up all the love and admiration, John, here at the float at Marina Bay. They are an inspiration to the younger generation.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our senior parliamentary secretaries, mayors, ministers of state, and senior ministers of state to this evening's parade.
You see more of our members of parliament and political office holders entering the arena, all decked out in their red and white. I just love the variety that they come dressed in, Dawn. It's red and white, but in many different shapes and forms.
Well, it is a day to show your creativity, your sense of fashion, perhaps. Lots of different styles on show, but you know, more than that, lots of smiles, John.
Real mood of celebration here at the float. You can see that in the way the MPs and political office holders are soaking in the atmosphere. You can see that in the crowd as well. What a sight.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us at the parade today are our senior ministers, cabinet ministers, and deputy prime ministers.
KC Culture, Community and Youth Minister Edwin Tong, Singapore's chief cheerleader, as the country blazed a trail across the SEA Games, ASEAN Para Games, and of course, the Commonwealth Games.
And also standing beside him, Dr. Tan Si Leng, our Manpower Minister, who's done a great deal to help the workers of Singapore during this pandemic. Right behind him, a whole host of familiar faces waving the Singapore flag. Health Minister there, Ong Ye Kung as well. Education Minister, Mr. Chan Chun Sing, and of course, right there at the back, a very familiar face from the multi-ministry task force as Mr. Lawrence Wong.
That's right, Mr. Wong, the leader of the 4G, very big role fronting much of Singapore's pandemic fight, from managing COVID measures to rolling out assistance for the most vulnerable. Senior Minister Teo Chee Hean, himself a senior stalwart. Defense Minister Ng Eng Hen, of course, had a major hand preparing this National Day Parade.
He certainly has had a major role in this year's NDP 2022. And don't forget,
President Dr. Tony Tan Keng Yang and Emeritus Senior Minister Mr. Goh Chok Tong. Let's give them a warm welcome.
there's Emeritus Senior Minister Goh Chok Tong there. He spent 44 years as a Member of Parliament, over 10 electoral terms, and of course, former President Dr. Tony Tan Keng Yang.
A warm welcome to our ministers here today. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for all the love here today in the crowd.
I want to sing a song for Singapore. You're my brother, you're my sister. I'm thankful for Singapore.
Let's go down to the riverside. It's an unforgettable sight to see the sunrise on a faraway isle, turning darkness into light. Stand up for Singapore. Stand up for Singapore.
One nation, one Singapore. That's the way that we will be forevermore. Every creed and every race has its fro and has its ways. One people, one nation.
One Singapore, strong and free. Different voices sing in harmony.
我从来不在乎自己不是一个大人物，因为平凡也是一种幸福。看到命运总是忙碌，而时间有空平凡日子一样会充实。
Anak kambing saya yang makan daun talas. Oh, jangan,
Liba berdiri indung todu banu. Valeria dekat lidung bini.
dream away. Take the world by the hand.
arrival of Singapore's third Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong to the float at Marina Bay for this year's National Day Parade 2022. The crowd waving their flags. They're taking the oath of office July 27, 2020, after winning the general election of July the 10th, held during the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Lee was sworn in for his 9th term of office.
Now this is Mr. Lee's 18th year attending the National Day Parade as Prime Minister. And the song you hear in the background typically accompanies his arrival. It's the voice of Corrine May singing Song for Singapore. The song first commissioned as the official theme for the 2010 National Day Parade.
Good evening, Prime Minister. It is really good to see you. Now we're moving on to the next segment of our National Day Parade 2022.
And that includes the total defense display and of course the parade and ceremony. Absolutely, you know, we're also celebrating NS 55, that's 55th anniversary of national service here in Singapore.
This is an amazing because I myself am what you call a MINDEF reserve, so I've completed my NS liabilities. What about you guys? Sonia, you finished with it?
I'm a reserve in a sports team at school, that's about it.
Alright, folks. It's the best way to commemorate our brave men and women by showing you our total defense display. Enjoy.
As part of this segment, pyrotechnics and blank ammunition will be used. Please remain seated.
See such
Good afternoon, Task Force Commander, sir.
Good afternoon. What is the situation now?
The Police Coast Guard has detected hostile forces entering our waters. Headquarters updated that they could be part of a larger force coming our way, sir.
How many forces are there?
There are 4 of them right now.
Let's keep monitoring and see the situation worsens.
Roger, sir. Sir, we have orders from headquarters to proceed with mobilization. May I have your permission to proceed?
Mobilize our units now.
Roger, sir.
We have identified hostile forces entering Singapore territorial waters.
Roger. Dispatch Republic of Singapore Navy assets to investigate.
Look to your right as intruders on jet skis enter Marina Bay. Closing in fast on the intruders are the combatant craft medium vessels from the Republic of Singapore Navy. These highly maneuverable craft can quickly execute changes of direction while chasing down intruders at high speed. Working closely with the Police Coast Guard, the Republic of Singapore Navy watches over our waters 24/7, keeping our maritime lifelines safe and secure. Watch as they give chase and apprehend the intruders.
Intruders neutralized.
Roger that. Good work. We have received new orders to defend our homeland from further aggression. Republic of Singapore Navy, stand by to insert naval divers into the area of operations.
Roger. Inserting naval divers into the area of operation.
Coming in fast into the Marina Bay is the CH-47F heavy-lift helicopter of the Republic of Singapore Air Force. With advanced avionics and improved cargo handling capabilities, the CH-47F provides the SAF with a robust lift capability for a wide range of operations. The pilot is flying with great precision, hovering just 3 meters above the waters to execute the helocast operation. Elite frogmen are able naval divers are trained for maritime special operations, including underwater security operations, underwater explosive ordnance disposal, and maritime counterterrorism. The naval divers are now infiltrating the area of operations. Ladies and gentlemen, watch as our naval divers make their re-entry from the stage in front of you. True to the motto of the Naval Diving Unit, nothing stands in their way.
Republic of Singapore Air Force, this is Task Force Commander. Stand by to secure the airspace of the area of operations.
Roger. Scramble F-15 to secure airspace.
Look to the skies as we see 4 F-16s from the Republic of Singapore Air Force approach Marina Bay. Our F-16s will fly past each other at close range, showcasing precision and team excellence. Presenting the Double Shackle. On the promenade in front of you is the High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, also known as the HIMARS. With its precise firepower and enhanced responsiveness, the HIMARS is capable of engaging multiple targets on the battlefield. Watch as our HIMARS simulate the execution of a long-range precision strike.
Republic of Singapore Air Force, this is Task Force Commander. Stand by to conduct airstrikes.
Roger. Fighters en route. Time over target. ETA 10 seconds.
Look to the skies as our F-16s reappear above us. This time, the pair of F-16s will simulate a bombing run over the Marina Bay area. Watch as they showcase their maneuverability by executing a high-G combat turn. Our two F-16s will now simulate the exit from the bombing run by executing a vertical climb. Also their way of wishing Singapore continued progress and prosperity above all! Ladies and gentlemen, look to your left as two AH-64D Apache Longbow helicopters are about to approach the Marina Bay airspace. The Apaches are one of the most formidable attack helicopters with a wide array of weapon systems. Equipped with an advanced targeting system, the Apache can outsee, outmaneuver, and outshoot their adversaries in day and night conditions. Watch them showcase their aerial agility as they perform the Apache combat attack maneuver, simulating an attack on their targets. Following closely on land are our Leopard 2SG main battle tanks. In operations, our Apaches and Leopard 2SGs work hand in hand to detect and destroy a wide range of land targets. Our L2SGs will now perform an assault on their objectives. Entering from the left Singapore's first fully digitalized platform and is designed to provide our armed forces with enhanced capabilities to operate more effectively on the battlefield. The variants you see in front of you are equipped with anti-tank guided missiles capable of taking out other armored threats. Watch as they will now demonstrate their firepower. Entering the promenade are the Terrex infantry carrier vehicles. These vehicles provide infantry forces with enhanced protection, mobility, and firepower in the battlefield. Watch as our infantry troopers exit their vehicles. Keep your eyes on them as they move up the gallery in a tactical formation, simulating the securing of an objective. Our infantry troopers are equipped with the SAR-21 assault rifle and are wearing the new load-bearing system. The load-bearing system is a modular load-bearing and protection vest designed for better heat dissipation to allow our soldiers to be more effective on the battlefield. Entering from both sides of the promenade are our light strike vehicles. Watch as these highly maneuverable vehicles perform a high-speed crisscross maneuver in front of you. In addition to their mobility, the light strike vehicles are also equipped with weapon systems to destroy enemy targets. Watch as they will now simulate the firing of their anti-tank weapon systems. Always ready, ready to strike.
Sir, all threats neutralized. Mission accomplished.
Good job, thank you.
Everyone, please give the SAF a big round of applause for that thrilling display. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next is the NDP 22 Parade and Ceremony segment. This year, we welcome back the military tattoo and marching contingents from the various uniformed groups and the social and economic groups. Kickstarting the segment is the military tattoo led by band conductor, military expert 5 Stephen Tan Aki, and band drum major military expert 2 Mohammed Hafiz bin Amran, and senior staff sergeant Mohammed Faisal Banjui. The military tattoo is formed by the combined band from the SAF and SPF bands. The virtual marching bands you will see on the screen are formed by students from Yishun Town Secondary School, Swiss Cottage Secondary School, Yu Ying Secondary School, and Bukit Panjang Government High School. And the virtual choir is formed by students from Fuhua Secondary School and Kent Ridge Secondary School. Also joining the performance is the SAF Silent Precision Drill Squad.
Some 1,300 participants from 36 virtual and physical contingents make up this year's parade and ceremony. And kicking things off is the military tattoo. You're gonna hear them perform some familiar tunes this evening. Let's see how many you can recognize. And and contributing to those numbers, the return of the physical youth, social and economic contingents.
As if performing and playing in tune together weren't enough of a job, John, the band beginning to form up the outline of the Heartlands. Also turn your attention to the screens, the large screens at the back of this stage, this mammoth stage. Part of the novelty of this stage setup is the multimedia aspect of it. There is the virtual band there joining in as well.
Now of a virtual choir formed by students from Fuhua Secondary School and Kent Ridge Secondary School, the combined band transforming to show the words of I love SG and home, signifying the love of our nation, a place we call home.
To at the NDP, John, it is the precision and dexterity of the silent precision drill squad of the Singapore Armed Forces and Military Police Command. This team is known for tossing their rifles, doing those quick rotations and confident hand movements. Just saw that just now, a popular crowd favorite.
Closely at the screens behind the stage, you can see students of the virtual band forming the words NDP 22. The skills and talents of performers in this combined military band perfectly underscores the strength of our nation.
The Parade Regimental Sergeant Major for National Day Parade 2022 is Master Warrant Officer Kelly Yeo Kai Kit, Brigade Sergeant Major, 5th Singapore Infantry Brigade. The Parade Regimental Sergeant Major will now call in the parade.
Marching in from both sides are the 3 SAF contingents from the Army, Navy and Air Force, together with the Singapore Police Force and the Singapore Civil Defence Force.
marching on stage now, our social and economic groups, followed by contingents from a number of our uniformed youth organizations.
loved ones in cyberspace during the pandemic, meeting people virtually, it's become part of our new normal. And so also with us, we have the virtual contingents from the socio-economic sector standing shoulder to shoulder. And together they represent our resolve to defend our country.
Ladies and gentlemen, the parade commander, accompanied by servicewomen from the Women Police Pipes and Drums from the Singapore Police Force Band, will now take over command of the parade from the Parade Regimental Sergeant Major.
The parade commander is taking charge of the parade right now from the Parade Regimental Sergeant Major. Today, the parade commander is Lieutenant Colonel N.S. Desmond Fu Yun Jie. He's accompanied by servicewomen from the Women Police Pipes and Drums from the Singapore Police Force Band. They, of course, have been around since 1972. These musicians are also full-time police officers, and they performed not just in Singapore but overseas as well, including Indonesia, Japan, and Australia.
John, you mentioned 1972. Well, back then, the Women Police Pipes and Drums Band, it was formed with a pioneer group of just 30 women. And as you mentioned, they are known around the world for their talent and often invited for official occasions.
Marching on to the stage now, 36 regimental colours. The colours party comprises ensigns who are commissioned officers. They are escorted by specialists or military experts.
I do like
Regimental Sergeant Major is Military Expert 3 O Kok Siong, Regimental Sergeant Major, 1st Combat Support Hospital.
now are the 3 state colors. The colors are escorted by the 4 Guard of Honor contingents. Those contingents today proudly formed by the Singapore Army, the Republic of Singapore Navy, the Republic of Singapore Air Force, and the Singapore Police Force. Preparations now for the presidential gun salute to the right of the floating platform. We now see the soldiers from the 24th Battalion Singapore Artillery on board the M3G rockets moving into position to fire the salute. The raft is operated by the crew from the 35th Battalion Singapore Combat Engineers.
For you about the meaning and significance of colors. They're awarded to units in recognition of their achievements in the field of combat training, administrative efficiency, and service.
This year's parade also commemorates 55 years of national service. The parade is led by Parade Commander Lieutenant Colonel N.S. Desmond Fu Yun Jie, Commanding Officer 328 Singapore Combat Engineers. Ladies and gentlemen, the parade will now pay its compliments to our Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Hsien Loong.
The Prime Minister of Singapore, Lee Hsien Loong, there, making his way to the podium to receive the compliments from the parade. Last year, as he walked these steps, the Prime Minister, as well as most of those taking part in the parade, they'd been masked as part of pandemic safety measures, a very different sight.
We don't make up like other, you make it natural. Yeah, no choice. That is our image.
But I like it, you know.
Same like you look at Dr. Tay like that.
Yeah.
You don't.
It's very simple.
Simple, yeah.
It's been just 4 months since the Prime Minister addressed the nation about the new normal and the battle against COVID-19. Now, even as we crest one wave, more challenges have emerged. The rising cost of living and increasingly complicated geopolitics both warranting mention in the PM's National Day message. Just as Singaporeans are stronger together during the pandemic, so too for the storms of tomorrow. The PM is expected to elaborate at the National Day rally.
Next, let's welcome the virtual choir comprising performance from SG Enable, Voices of Singapore Children's Choir, Boon Lay Secondary School Choir, Manjusri Secondary School Choir, the Graduate Singers, and the Combined Special Education Choir. They will perform the National Day 2022 theme song, Stronger Together. Ladies and gentlemen, let us show our appreciation to the performers of the virtual choir by giving them this huge round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and welcome the arrival of our president, Madam Halima Yacob.
Next year we will have president election.
Yeah, it's a boy.
There will be election, no more specific. The main is everybody can contest, but upon condition.
So Malay.
No more Malay.
President Halima Yacob arrives for the grand occasion in traditional red and white, the colors of Singapore. It's the 5th time she's attended this event as Singapore's president. She is also the first female president in Singapore's history.
Next. After this. I haven't confirmed the date. Maybe the next.
Ladies and gentlemen, approaching show center are 5 F-16s from the Republic of Singapore Air Force, led by Commanding Officer 140 Squadron, Senior Lieutenant Colonel Lee Mei Yi, the first female fighter pilot to lead the salute to the nation. Here's her message for Singapore.
Good to see you, Singapore. Happy 57th birthday. Madula.
Now get ready for a spectacular bomb burst in a salute to the nation. And here they come!
Madam President, the parade is formed up and ready for inspection now.
The President now getting ready to inspect the parade. And you hear there, As a mark of respect, the 25-pounder guns positioned on the M3G raft that is firing in salute to the president.
This is also known as the Presidential Gun Salute, the highest honor that can be conferred, normally reserved for the head of state. Now, the salute is fired from a weapon known as the 25-pounder. You can clearly hear, even at home, the power of those cannons. Each time they fire, it is loud. Fired from open waters to bring the action closer to the audience here. The salute honors the president in a formal way while she prepares to respect the Guard of Honor contingents.
Stopping to speak to a soldier. It's a proud moment that this young man will not forget. No small feat to stand at attention for lengthy periods in this meet. These military men and women very familiar with the rigors of training and discipline.
The president's unhurried inspection of the troops is a courtesy that she bestows on the Guard of Honor. He has invited her to review the contingents, the tradition made more significant this year as we celebrate 55 years of national service. And since the introduction of NS back in 1967, generations of national servicemen have served with unwavering dedication, pride, strength to keep Singapore safe and strong. Families, employers, and the public, they've all supported our national servicemen and women so that they can serve as
So we are not young come here, they born here. So we do national service. Look like Indian.
Those guns continuing to rock the floating platform. From the earliest times, people have used noise to express joy or to show honor. As CN acts like the display of fireworks. When modern artillery came along, it was then possible to do this in a more formal way.
That 25-pounder, John, is the weight of the ammunition, in fact. That ammunition weighs about 11.34 kilos, that's about 25 pounds. The weight of the blank is just minute, 0.454 kilos. It's just gunpowder, really. The gun only fires blanks now. It's unable to fire live ammo. The 25-pounder is 87.6 millimeters, and that cannon, it's heavy, 1,800 kilograms in weight.
Then he come here just 2 years, national service. Then after next year, he go back to Davao, study again college. The mother also be at that time just come back from video, but live in Davao. The neighbor also retire is from the last time also from uniform.
Okay.
But the guy sold the house.
Cheers and applause for President Halima from the audience. Of course, during the pandemic, Madam Halima, a steadfast supporter of our healthcare workers and caregivers, those who are very well known. She's praised their resilience and tireless efforts to protect the most vulnerable among us.
The crowd waving, flags high, smiles from the crowd, and a good wave back from the president as well. What a sight to see. Singapore's diversity on show as well, John. Young and old, side by side, a rare chance for this crowd here, 25,000 people strong. a chance to get to see the president
Oh,
up
did
close
they ever wear the
and
mask?
in public for such a
noticed no one
treasured
wearing it.
national celebration.
The number by research but okay. Up to you individual.
Most movie. That's good to say, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honor will now execute the feu de joie, or fire of joy, to celebrate our nation's birthday.
The Barry is the guards unit. He is the chief defense force.
Isikan peluh.
Is it real the boy? Or this just sound?
Blank, we call it blank.
Isikan peluh.
That means it have the sound, but no, have the cartridge, but no, no, yeah. But here can injure you.
It's like a, but it's not real. Can
Yeah, no bullet, no real bullet, because don't have the powder.
Yeah.
But you go near one shoot, you can kill you. So that's why I have to shoot.
Datang senja. Ha. Kawalan kehormatan. Rusuh senja. Ha. Madam President, may I have your permission to present a salute to our NS men, and thereafter march off the parade, ma'am.
Ladies and gentlemen, our president will now take his seat.
March off already.
March off.
Then after that, next year, no more than they want to make the holding line. So at least like maybe 2-3 years.
Forest, senang deh. Free.
If it's not for this whole NDU
Yeah.
experience, I wouldn't have as much resilience as I once had. Going through a lot of tough trainings, there's always one person smiling.
That's so true.
You do everything together. It's like a family. It builds that bond that I know that I'm not the only one.
I see national service as a call to citizenship duty.
You have to understand the purpose that's very clear. Because if you don't know why you're doing this national service, then no amount of motivation can help.
It's an NS only.
Before we had ESTA, it was you serving in the NS. I was also serving in my capacity as a doctor. After having a baby, things really changed. Yeah, it definitely got difficult at times, especially with a newborn baby, and I was postpartum and we had to go back to reservice. I really learned that we're all serving national service here.
Trust between the pilots and the ground crew is very important. We rely on seniors and the older generation to actually guide us and to train us to be better Air Force engineers.
The guy that launching me is most probably a 20 years old NSF. When he launched me, my life actually depends on him. Without this trust, if this trust is broken, it's very difficult to get the job done.
We call it forging our tribe.
Yeah.
My mom wanted me to be a police officer. She actually wanted to work as a police officer, but she couldn't. I ended up going to the police, and that also fulfilled her ambitions through me. I enjoy what I do during my NS and reservice.
If he needs to go for the NS leave, this is something that we all have to support. Knowing that the next person is operational ready, that's very, very important to me. When the moment they get activated, we have to let them go. We always will have somebody on standby to take over.
Sister Dini, thank you for finding people to cover my duties when I go for NS.
Thank you for serving the nation.
When he got the letter from CMPB that he's enlisted in the SCDF, he was very happy because he wanted to be a firefighter. Slowly I guided him what it's all about in SCDF. I'm very happy because it's a very meaningful NS appointment.
He's a role model to me because he shows some good example. I can look up to him. So at the time when he at work busy, then go back home, he spend time with me, my family. I'm proud that you do all this just for our family. I won't be like you actually. I'm always by your side.
After independence, 1967.
Ladies and gentlemen, in commemoration of NS 55, we would like to invite all national servicemen, past and present, to please stand and receive a salute from the parade.
Standing up to receive a salute, standing up to receive the crowd's applause, but at its core, standing up for Singapore. What a moonshow of appreciation for our national servicemen. And for the men standing up at home, we see you, and we offer a deep thank you from us and the nation.
Our commando is trained in NS. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, nobody knows.
So it's really, I mean, proud of them being like...
Yeah, they provide the ground, but they go to where? Vietnam there. Yeah. They train in this way, Philippine Military Academy, PMA.
Yeah.
In this Baguio there.
Baguio City there.
Because at that time, 60, 70, Philippines.
It's already started already.
Yeah, they started already. Guided by the US. So
Yeah.
they are very strong. The time Singapore just started already.
Just started doing.
Yeah. So we have Taiwan.
Oh. Then they continue after that.
I also spend.
You also do the service?
Full time. Before I taxi driver. I'm a specialist. You were short and what I do is I'm doing something like remote the plane, military, intelligent work.
The Colours Party forming up for the march past with the full Guard of Honour contingents now. Colours have a long history. They date back to the early 17th century. Some history for you about why colours have significance. They originated as a form of identification in battle. Unlike colours today, which bear a state or regimental crest, these early flags were rudimentary banners of a single colour, hence the term colours.
Colours became a source of morale and pride for soldiers. Men were inspired to keep fighting when they saw their flag flying high. And because of their symbolic importance, capturing an enemy's colours was considered a great honour, while losing one's colours was a severe humiliation. Hence, a group of soldiers, the Colours Party, was assigned to protect the colours whenever they were brought into battle.
John, today colours are no longer carried into battle, but they are still retained in modern armed forces. These are symbols of tradition and glory. Colours also bear the badges that commemorate the achievements of the regiment. Colours also help to promote cohesion, as critical and instill in the men of the unit a sense of pride and loyalty.
The red is so when you go to battle, you bring your to represent. The marching is UK marching. UK.
across the voting platform. It is protocol for the spectators to stand in respect of the contingents, and also perhaps a show of appreciation for all the hard work that they've gone through in preparation of this National Day Parade. And leading the march past is the parade commander, Lieutenant Colonel Desmond Fu Yunjie. He's the commanding officer, 328 Singapore Combat Engineers.
Last time,
rehearsal, they have a few rehearsal. This is the final parade, the rehearsal.
A lot of hard work has gone into this role today. The responsibility of leading the parade together with Master Warrant Officer Kelly Yo Kai Kiet, Regimental Sergeant Major of the parade.
The one is like celebration in the housing estate. Or after the parade, then they have other day they choose to housing estate.
Following behind, 36 regimental colours of the SAF, together with the colours Regimental Sergeant Major, Military Expert 3 O Kok Seong.
And coming up is the Army Guard of Honor contingent formed by the men from the Best Combat Unit, 1st Commando Battalion, led by Contingent Commander Major Louis So.
This one is a Chinese.
yeah, this one Chinese.
Louis Su.
Marching just
Like the
behind the
regular.
2nd Guard of Honor contingent is the Navy Guard of Honor contingent. It's formed by the men of the Naval Diving Unit, led by Contingent Commander Major Chen Chinbun.
The 3rd Guard of Honor contingent is the Republic of Singapore Air Force contingent formed by the men from the Air Power Generation Command, led by Contingent Commander Major Benjamin Koh Su Meng. Finally, the 4th Guard of Honor contingent is the Singapore Police Force Training Command contingent, formed by the men and women from the Police Training Command. They're led by Contingent Commander Deputy Superintendent of Police Raymond Chua.
But if you cry, you join, you know. I never joined. My brother joined, then my niece also joined. I never joined. I don't have the chance. That's why we are saying that.
A great view of the entire stage on your screens right now as the contingents begin to make their way to the promenade. Marching now, our uniformed services, formed by the Army, Navy, Air Force, Singapore Police Force, and Singapore Civil Defence Force. And first we have the marching contingent formed by the Army, led by Captain Ryan Fushi Hao and Captain Xiao Jingyi.
One is regular.
Next are the contingents formed by the Republic of Singapore Navy, led by Military Expert 4 Kwek Hong Hai, and the Republic of Singapore Air Force, led by Captain Neo Chen Ting. Coming up, the contingents formed by the Singapore Police Force, led by Assistant Superintendent of Police Andrew Lim Kian Wei, and the Singapore Civil Defence Force, led by Captain Elvin Su Guotie.
Following behind, the social and economic groups. First, the contingents from National Trades Union Congress, led by Sanjeev Kumar Tiwari, and PAP PCF, led by Yip Hong Wei. Next up, the contingents formed by Semcor Industries Limited, led today by Valerie Koo, and Capital Corporation, led by Max Haynes.
PLC company.
Behind the contingents formed by Singtel, led by Wong Wei Yong. And OSIM International Private Limited, led by Samuel Cheng Su Chu.
The expensive one.
Next up, the contingents
Grab
formed
also
by
have.
Grab Holdings, led by Iskandar Abdullah. One Team Singapore, led by Christopher Chia K. Yong.
This is one team.
Following behind, the uniform groups, leading them are the contingents formed by the National Cadet Corps, Landon Singh, led by Cadet Lieutenant Darius Yang Kai-Shia.
But you don't have a gun.
National Cadet Corps, land and air, led by Cadet Captain Chetty Yang.
We saw then the contingents formed by St. John's Brigade, led by Port Staff Officer Grade 5 Vincent Wong, and Singapore Red Cross Society, led by Cadet Officer Eric Lim Tiaran. There you see NPCC, led by Honorary Inspector Siddiq Mamsha Shalan. National Civil Defence Cadet Corps, led by Cadet Lieutenant Nazatul Amira Saranga.
And next, the contingents formed by the Girls Brigade, led by Warrant Officer Ang Yipin. And Boys Brigade, led by Cadet Lieutenant Xiao Zhewei. Now, ending the contingents from the uniformed groups today are Scouts Association, led by Venture Scout Ignatius Lee Jun Wei. And Girl Guides, led by young adult Patricia Iza Binti Abdul Rahman. Proud day for these young people.
Lastly, providing the marching music for this evening's parade is the combined band. And they're led by band conductor Military Expert 5, Stephen Khan Ek Ki. And band drum major, Military Expert 2, Dash Chua King Hui. And there you see Senior Staff Sergeant Mohammed Faisal Manjuri.
Ganda talaga tingnan, no?
Ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to the next segment of this year's National Day Parade, we would like to provide you an update on Red Lion Third Warrant Officer Jeffrey Heng. We have received word and confirmed that thankfully his condition is stable, alert, he is conscious, and he's currently receiving medical attention. Sir, if you're watching this right now, the entire nation, we wish you a speedy recovery.
Loud applause there for our fallen Red Lion. A speedy recovery
As
indeed.
part of this segment, pyrotechnics and blank ammunition will be used. Please remain seated.
Multiple network intrusion attempts have been detected.
This seems like a coordinated attack. Alert the agencies immediately. We must not let them into our system.
On it. Most of the threats have been mitigated. However, one intrusion attempt may have been successful. We are still investigating.
officers have arrived, leading the response on the fast response bike and the light fire attack vehicle, also known as the Red Rhino. Swift and nimble, both vehicles are often first to arrive on scene during emergencies. Entering the promenade is the pump ladder, commonly known as the fire engine. It is the backbone of our frontline response against fire and rescue incidents. The emergency medical service have also arrived to attend to the casualty. The fire bikers trained as emergency medical technicians have started stabilizing the casualty. Concurrently, the ambulance crew are ready to evacuate the casualty. Using the Operational Medical Network's informatics integrator on board the ambulance, our paramedics are able to provide real-time updates of the casualty's condition to the hospital. All firefighting assets are now in position. Watch as they come together to extinguish the raging fire. Threat is formed as a result of the fire. A hazardous gas leak has occurred. Emerging from the gallery are the unmanned firefighting machine and the pumper firefighting machine. Remotely operated, these machines allow our responders to contain the hazardous gas threat from a safe distance. Look to your right. Arriving on scene are the hazmat mitigation vehicle and the utility buggy. The hazmat mitigation vehicle transports our hazmat specialists and their equipment to the incident site, while the buggy enables swift evacuation of casualties. The unmanned machines have started their operations to disperse the hazardous gas. Watch as our hazmat specialists tackle the gas threat. The gas leak has been successfully mitigated. Well done, SCDF.
Guys, you got serious news about the active shooting in Singapore?
Active shooting?
Confirmed that a few gunmen have entered the building. At the time of the incident, multiple gunshots were heard around the area. We also have reports that at least 10 civilians were inside the building. Officers from the Singapore Police Force are responding. We will bring you more updates as the situation unfolds.
Hearing the gunshots, the in-situ reaction team IRT from the Singapore Police Force have been activated. While waiting for more reinforcements to arrive, the IRT negotiates with the hostage taker to stall for time. Arriving to reinforce the team from both sides of the promenade are the Ground Response Force and Emergency Response Team. The next tier of responders will now advance forward with a tactical assault. Watch as the Special Operations Command's armed strike team completely overwhelm the remaining gunmen. One of the gunmen has left behind a suspicious package. Making its way into the promenade is the remotely operated vehicle, or ROV, used by our Army's Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit. Watch as the robot investigates and neutralizes the suspicious package. given the all-clear sign. The coast is clear. Please give the Singapore Police Force and the Singapore Army a big round of applause.
This is breaking news.
The basic what experts describe as how perfect storm.
Officers are responding.
Entering the promenade is a combined task force comprising the rapid deployment troops and fast response car from the Singapore Police Force and the peacekeeper response vehicles from the Army Deployment Force. They have been activated to block the hijackers from proceeding further. Turn to your right as the hijacked bus races onto the promenade. In hot pursuit, our elite troopers from the Special Operations Task Force. You may want to cover your ears as they're about to make an explosive entry. The hijackers have been neutralized. Watch as our special forces hand over the hostages to the Army Deployment Force, who will escort them to safety. Are rescued and all threats have been neutralized. Well done, SPF and SAF.
Mas maayo gani ni sila sa diri nga mga pulis kay hindi basta-basta lang para sabi nakasala ka sa ila, hindi basta-basta lang na saktan kanila. Hindi pwede. Sa ano talaga sa process talaga. Hindi pwede na yung ginagawa nila dito, yung mindset, kailangan talaga i-ano na yan, test-case nila. Madali. Ano? Bito? Hindi ba ba ito? Hindi ba?
Everyone, let's give our SAF and home team a huge cheer for that fantastic display. And now, Singapore, are you ready to celebrate NDP 2022? Are you ready to party the night away? Then, here we go!
Every great story must have a beginning, and this is our chapter 1. This is the life, the rise of Singapore, the metamorphosis from mudflats to metropolis, the story of us.
and spinning the tunes tonight, DJ Tink, a successful homegrown DJ who's balanced career with caregiving. She's a proud mother of one.
The creative heart and genius behind what you'll be seeing, hearing and feeling in our show. And none other than veteran actor Adrian Pang. Buckle up at home. Right now we are on a roller coaster ride back to the carefree days up to 2019.
The celebration here at the float spreads across the island. No one left out in this celebration of society.
And back on stage, the talented cheerleading team from NUS reaching high into the night sky.
The beat now even reaching the aisles of your local supermarket.
What's happening on the massive screen behind the stage, it is all part of the beat for tonight's performance. This chapter's musical medley spans the past 6 decades, charting the soundtrack of our lives through generations.
You know, it's quite overwhelming looking at that wonderful view of the stage, the coming together of lights, music and dancing, which is now spreading to the vortex of the heartlands.
John, a huge roar of appreciation from the crowd. For the aunties, move aside kids. Let these ladies show you how it's done. If you at home are not on your feet already, what is stopping you?
Brilliant look at that fireworks lighting up the night sky here at the jewel of the city that is Marina Bay Floating Platform, the first salvo of the night. And I tell you what, it's a promise of plenty more to come.
What a start to the show. What a ride. Performers holding nothing back on the stage, John. And we remember 2019 well. It seemed like the music could go on and on until it didn't. It all stopped because of this. The deafening silence. of 2020.
April circuit breaker. The pandemic.
What happened, young man? Batuk where? Batuk because we're drunk, is it? Oh, what's your, but we have to send you for x-ray to check your lungs. They're going to take care of you, huh?
Harry, you remember everything from class? Anything I should have just asked me, okay?
Yeah, okay, nurse.
You know I'm not a nurse, right?
When last time you working?
I was a dancer.
Dancer?
Yep.
Maybe you can dance again soon, huh?
I don't think so, Tariq.
It's fun. Hard to say. You never know.
Not soon, anyway.
It's fun. You never know.
Well, when it happens, I'll be sure to invite you.
Hi. Are you Mr. Che's daughter?
Yes. Oh, this is my mother.
Hello.
Is our dad in pain?
His breathing is labored, but the increased oxygen will stabilize him. Mr. Che, your son and daughter are here.
I'll be back a bit late tonight. The kid's okay? Okay. Bye.
A single healthcare worker. She came to symbolize the struggle of the nation and all the people we needed the most. Our frontline heroes who stepped up when we needed hope the most.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear? But let that lonely feeling wash away. Maybe there's reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand. And someone will come running, and I know they'll
bringing hope to homes and a city to be loved. Our frontline heroes brought light to Singapore. The call was answered. Tribute to our unsung heroes and unseen angels, out of sight but never out of mind, as they steered Singapore through the storm of the pandemic.
Hello. Hey. Thank you. Stylo. Going to work. Have a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, can you find the folder? You fill in your password and your login right there. It's under 理解. 理解应用. I uploaded it last week already. Still can't? Did you change your password? I didn't change anything. What did you do to Mama's computer? Where's my folder? Can you please ask Jack and introduce Tracy?
妹妹，来婆婆这边。来，好啊，亲戚孙嫁亲去。哦。
哎呀，大妹妹。
你嘴 plastic。
来，OK 吗？
你哪把按照看了？
里边说应该还 OK 吧。我现在比较担心的是心理。
Sorry, give me a moment. Let me check your password.
咱若经过安尼做，这一摆会 OK。
After breakfast, we see how you feel, then we do some simple exercises, okay?
Do you know, I used to be a swim coach. 5 km, 10 km, no problem.
It's okay. We'll try again tomorrow, okay? Slow and steady. You'll get better.
How's your father-in-law?
Andrew says he's stable.
How are you feeling? Gotta take care of yourself too.
My first two, no morning sickness. This one, all day nausea.
Are you too nauseous to hold a stabilizer?
How come so fancy? Must you stabilizer?
To keep their attention.
Okay. Cameraman ready and action.
Okay, so today it's time for you to finish up your paintings. Now pay attention to the details in terms of colors and brush strokes. Look at the textures, especially when you're working on the bark. Right?
你没听哥哥？听，对，来给我，你没接？啊，好，听给哥哥。
婆婆，好累了。
你才玩5分钟就累了。
And right. Up to the left. And stretch.
3 months kita nagbibisa yun. Sa hindi sila kapangtas. Apply that sa
Just bring your we're coming at night.
...2022 is the year of celebrating families, now a tribute to all kinds of families through good times and bad.
Can you hear us sing? Not one but us, one standing together as we dream. We are a family. Together faces through the years. Every story, a voice we are stronger, we are here. Looking back, it's hard to believe how far away you journeyed. When it once was too big of a dream, it's now let's go. But through all the joys and the pain of this one thing hasn't changed. Can we bring no shine out there?
Where's the Ian? Bye, Ann.
No matter how far apart we are,
Where's the key?
together. Like the moon and the stars in the sky that will never change. We are a symphony, we are a symphony. Can you hear us sing? No one else wants to live together as we dream. We are a family, million faces through the years. Every story, a voice we are stronger, and we
It was late last year that I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. After my surgery, there were many sleepless nights wondering whether the cancer had spread. It was these nightmarish moments that my family gave me the courage to face up to my cancer.
On top of my age, I had to take care of my bedridden mum and my husband who has dementia. Thankfully, my sister who lives in Australia kept her promise. She packed up and moved back here to support the family. She allowed me to spend more time with my grandchildren whom I missed so much during the pandemic.
pulling the plug for the wedding was really hard to do.
I would find myself feeling sorry for ourselves, but we don't regret anything.
We ended up having a humble ceremony in our living room with our families by our side, which was special in itself. Now that we are about to start a family of our own,
Our thoughts are on each other and the little baby boy we're about to welcome into the world.
Growing up, my dad was seldom around when I needed him. That left a hole that I desperately tried to fill throughout my adult life. I spent too much time at work that I began to neglect my own family. After this difficult realization, I enrolled myself in the Dads for Life movement. Today, we put a spotlight on families. They bring us love, show us care and concern, give us their commitment, and respect us for who we are. Families remind us that we're not alone on this journey.
Everyone, sit on your heart drums! No matter how far apart we are, we're still together. Wave them in the air! Beneath the moon and the stars in the sky, where the heart that beats is one. Show your love for your family! Can you hear us sing? Not one but last one, standing together as we dream.
What a way to celebrate families who are definitely the heart of our communities. And now we celebrate the soul of our people through our arts and culture. First up, performing the hit single from the 1988 musical Beauty World. Give it up for original cast member Jacinta. Ladies and gentlemen at the float, raise your heart drums and clap along as we cha-cha-cha.
Serenading us with a classic Tarantiwa is our national treasure, Rahima Rahim.
All right, Singapore, keep those heart drums beating as we present our next song, Singai Nada. and songwriter himself, Shabir. Let's start beating our heart drums to the beat. Let's go, Singapore.
You know her, you love her. She is Ska Thai icon and legend, Liu Ling Ling. Make some noise.
拜年好！今天是国庆日，大家一起唱，一起跳，一起嗨！
起浪起波，感情会酸。起浪起受苦，感情才会苦。时光点滴，再来珍惜，用心去追，爱多么可贵。这样的人，这样的真，无非我懂得为你眼神，为爱翻滚，不计波折，甘心为你一生都认真。这样的人，这样的真，谢谢你心里感到感恩。就算天热，就算天冷，只为了与你一起成全。起浪起波，感情会酸。起浪起受苦，感情苦苦。
We would like to wish you Happy National Day, Madura, Singapore.
A tribute to the arts, a continuation of this chapter's passionate theme of family, community, and togetherness.
Kosong dua telur, ha? Okay. Hey.
How come so much? Wrong order is it?
Second bag for Sharifah. The small one is for you.
No need, ah.
Then give me back.
No. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Whoa! Hey, present dari Afiq.
I'll message him later. Thank you so much. More? How many pellets left? How many more pellets?
2 more.
2 more. Okay. Sharifah. Today I got 西瓜. Who's going to cut?
Me, samurai.
Okay, faster, but don't cut yourself.
Jangan tepuk tangan. Mak, Uncle Ice panggil.
Uncle Ice. Le Hobo.
Got dry ration?
Dry rations got all this fresh food. Ho liao le la anjua ma diam pai se. Go to mo.
Tapi no one cook for me.
We can cook for you. My children can cook for you.
I'm joking.
Auntie Bibi wants these boxes. You keep for her.
爸，当然刚刚亮搞完的矿，心里要生了，我们家要不要来？每个人都很想你。
哎呀，我心会无聊了。
爸，最后了吧。
哎呀。
你们不舒服
？OK。
You know, Phoebe 说我们不需要那么早就 report 的。
You mean after I start getting heavier, right?
再2个星期我们就 stop. Okay. Please.
我会 take care 的 ，promise.
Singapore needs to take quick action to dampen the increasing likelihood of an exponential rise in COVID-19 cases, the Ministry of Health said on Monday. Health risk warnings will be sent out to people linked to current clusters, requiring them to be tested and to self-isolate.
I know you all are a bit nervous, but don't worry, okay? Trust your training, alright? I need you guys to look after each other, and if any one of you is accidentally exposed, don't panic, okay? Just follow the protocol. If you do all that, plus all the safety measures, you will be fine.
And so the fight began for survival against an unseen, tireless enemy. It was a fight we could not afford to lose.
My people, we've been here before, generation after generation. Just as pressure makes diamonds, our struggles make us who we are. It's not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get back up after fall. When the time comes for us to fight, you're gonna hear the city roar.
The strains of our battle cry, amplified by the high-octane riffs of the electric guitar played by Elaine Koo. Warriors, one and all, regardless of background, united in purpose. Marching in step ahead of the charge to meet the unseen foe. This is an army of lions, forged in the hottest of fires.
We stand together, no matter the stormy weather, we carry on. Times like these, we're one voice, a few million strong. So I say to you, stand up every time you feel like giving up. Stand up in the darkness, ready to greet the dawn. Stand up as the sun rises in the early morn.
The fight on stage. It's not just about our fight against the virus that blew a hole through our lives in the past 2.5 years. It's the fight against any adversity, any challenge that we face as a people now and in the future. Arm in arm, we jump, eyes wide, together.
Lion City, make some noise. I go by the name of Sugar Shane. Use your hot drums. Tonight, we beat as one. The stronger the fight, the harder you fall. We here to continue. We standing up tall. We've been through it all. My people are ready again. Fail 9 times, get up on 10. This is our city, we in it to win. Here we go now. Get in your feet, get in the heartbeat. 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 Stand up, destiny yours. Keeping the moving, we stay in the course. End of the light, straight for the source. Hands in the ground, we don't get the cross. Stand up, harder to breathe. Gotta believe in what we can achieve. Heart on my sleeves, read in between. Look at the vision, now what do you see? Stand up, gotta be strong. Never giving up the ties of the feet. HDB streets, where I belong. Lion City heart is what I'ma keep. Stand up, no time to sleep. Taking it down when we going in deep. Gotta have faith, take it a break. This ain't a jump, only taking a leap. Taking a leap. Jump, 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 jump. Stand up, harder to breathe. Gotta believe in what we can achieve. Heart on my sleeves, read in between. Look at the vision, now what do you see? Tell me what you see. Stand up, destiny yours. Keeping it moving, we stay in the course. Ain't got nothing to lose. Stand up for our city by trying to sing a pump. Sing a pump. Sing a pump. Lion City, sing a pump. Sing a
It was time for our warriors' voices to be heard, and what a resounding cry it was.
This job with aircon? I'm terrified.
At rehearsal tonight.
Okay. Looks like you're stuck with me, Peanut.
Anyone last said, uncle? After this, we arm wrestle. Don't malu. Those two old men loud. You know, guys.
Oi!
Ma, apa ni? Tak faham ah.
Kau lah! Apa kau tak ada kau bully aku, ha? Eh, where is Mo?
real people, the real lives of the brave ones that Chapter 4, The Fight, was inspired by.
Our healthcare workers bore the brunt of it all, the blood, sweat, tears, the sacrifice over and over again. They were there.
Our teachers as well, a big thank you to them for helping the kids get through.
Our social workers and the selfless acts of volunteers without whom our most vulnerable wouldn't have pulled through.
And the soul of the nation, John, the arts community, one of the hardest hit, but there is nothing like a live performance. Watching artists give it their all. Stage, here they come, 57 red and white inflatables. Singapore's 57 years of independence, 57 years of challenge and opportunity. The peaks and valleys, the ups and downs, literally carried on the shoulders and the backs of this way.
But moving into the future, as long as we help one another, we will always rise up stronger together. Like the phoenix from the flames, we will rise up. Like the phoenix from the flames, we will rise up. Like the phoenix from the flames, we will rise up. Like the phoenix from the
symbol of reinvention, renewal, and rebirth as we face the future together.
watching us from, enjoy this moment. Ladies and gentlemen, here at the float, I invite you now to rise as we celebrate life in the present and look confidently to the future.
We are
theme and the youth driving the performance on stage, building up to this, honoring our elite athletes, Team SG, many of them involved in back-to-back competitions, representing the country, recently returning from the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. Performers on stage parting now to make way for the colours of Singapore. The red and white. of our national flag, held by 100 or more hands. The crescent moon and 5 stars spreads across the entire stage.
And you would be familiar with it by now. The red symbolizing universal brotherhood and equality. The white signifies pervading and everlasting purity and virtue. The crescent moon representing a young nation on the ascendant. And the 5 stars stand for the nation's ideals of democracy, peace, progress, justice, and equality.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as we recite our pledge and sing our anthem together.
We, the citizens of Singapore,
pledge ourselves
as united people, regardless of race, language, or religion, to build a democratic society based on justice and equality, so as to achieve happiness, prosperity, and progress for our nation.
Singapura, Malika kita bersatu semangat yang baru, semua kita berseru, majulah Singapura. Majulah Singapura, marilah kita bersatu dengan semangat yang baru.
President Madam Halima Yaakob will now take her leave. Please put your hands together and wish her a very good night.
Well, it's time for the President to make her exit from these incredible scenes of joy and celebration that you at home have shared with us here tonight at the float at Marina Bay. The raw emotion on display on the faces of the crowd here, as you would have seen earlier. You know, ever since replacing the National Stadium as an NDP venue, the float has become iconic in its own right. It's got a special place in our hearts, and especially for all those here tonight, this is the final time the NDP celebrations will be performed here. A swan song, if you like, for NDP, but there is a new, exciting journey ahead for this space.
Back in 2017, John, the Prime Minister announced that the float at Marina Bay would be redeveloped into NS Square, a permanent space that will feature an NS-themed gallery, community sports facilities, a new public waterfront promenade. There's lots in store, exciting times ahead. Akan datang.
And as is customary, the President offering her congratulations and thanks to those on stage. Months of hard work and toil from all present, and being honored for their effort. Hearty congratulations. Congratulations as well for our Team Singapore athletes.
The President showing her appreciation for the contribution that these young people have made tonight. She's a big supporter of youth empowerment in Singapore, John. She's advocated growing more opportunities for them, to develop a culture for youth to give back to society. We witnessed so much of that giving during the pandemic. Young people of Singapore coming up with all these novel and caring ways to do their part in the fight against one of our biggest challenges. The President recognizing that contribution.
The people on stage also doing their part in rousing the nation, not just on this National Day, but as we prepare for the continuing fight to come. We are stronger together.
A final wave to the crowd before she makes her exit. Our President.
Singapore, you have been absolutely beautiful tonight. Performers, everyone, let's send the crowd home happy. When we say stronger together, you say Majula. Let's do it 3 times. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Stronger together. Stronger together. Stronger together.
What an incredible experience here today with 25,000 people together here today.
That's right. Now we've had our fair share of challenges and we might have more coming ahead.
But we embrace the future with hope, gratitude, strength, and courage because we are indeed stronger together. But you know what? For now, you guys, get your energy ready because for one final time at the float, we want to say Happy Birthday, Singapore!
The atmosphere here is electric. It's an emotional audience, John, captivated by the story of us, the story of Singapore. A spectacular show filled with heart, soul, and promise.
We've come to the end of this year's NDP, and what we've seen tonight has been a reminder of the greatest test the nation has seen in modern times, and the Singapore spirit it took to pull us through, despite the pandemic still testing us today.
And the fight doesn't end here, John. We soldier on. May this be the dawning of a new era, indeed, of solidarity, compassion, respect, community, each of us doing what we can, not only to survive,